Hello, mate. The new intro, sounding good, even live. I know when Jimmy sent it to us the other day, we were buzzing, weren't we? It's quite a good one, that. So happy days. Are you happy with it, mate?
Yeah, it's a banger, isn't it? He's been a busy boy these last few days, making intros and jazzing things up for us. So yeah, he's done a good job.
Too jazzy, indeed. Yeah. Well, been busy. Who's been busy? We've been busy looking at all these games, pal. We've had 2 games, haven't we, from New Year's Day. Then the Sunday that never was, but we won't we won't dwell on it too much. Not half. Love that journey up to Sheffield to to be stood outside the ground with my photo with Michael Cooper, as I like to get, and I've only got about 15 photos of all the players. Oh, did you know the game's off? You what, mate? It was almost like unbelievable. But anyway, we'll get on to that in a bit. We're going to go all the way back to New Year's Day. I know it's the 6th, and it seems like a long way away. And those hangovers that people were nursing on that particular day, to sit down and watch some high quality football or some high quality something or other. Anyway, we'll start with Blackburn Rovers and Wrexham. Wrexham, my word, they are stepping on at just the right time. Sam Smith, tell me about Sam Smith, mate.
Sam Smith, yeah, with one, and Ollie Rathbone on the score sheet as well. Again, to beat a very inconsistent Blackburn side, it has to be said. One that can't seem to put a run together, but Wrexham bang at it, and what a Christmas they had, mate, with 3 wins from 3. Valerian Ismail shows his players how well they're doing in key performance metrics, shows them the data daily, apparently. Data doesn't win football matches, though, does it, mate?
No, well, we say that a lot. I mean, I know that the pace of the game has changed over the years, and it is such a much more physical sport. I've spoken about this a lot. I do think you do have to have a certain amount of physical power and output to compete in Premier League level. I really believe that, especially in certain positions where you have that half a yard to have the better of the defenders and stuff. So I do think it's important, but like you've said, it's not everything, and sometimes it's about chemistry and cohesion and stuff that can't really be measured all the time by numbers on a spreadsheet. So yeah, I know it's one of those, really. I think Wrexham you've got to take your hat off to them. They for a really busy period to string together these kinds of results, one after the other. I think, is it 4 on the bounce now they've won?
It's 4 on the bounce now they've won, and as you say, Sam Smith starring for them on a couple of occasions there as well. Really
great singer, but I didn't know he was good at footy as well. I'm serious. I've never heard of him before he started knocking him in. I'll be honest with you. That's my knowledge. That's not no slant on him at all, because he looks like he can play. So fair play to him. Moving on to Bristol, they entertained Portsmouth. Bristol are just that side, aren't they? They're on their day. Following the 2-0 for Wrexham, a 5-0 victory for Bristol over Portsmouth. When you're down at the bottom and the fans are a little bit on your back, Mousinho didn't need that, did he? He didn't need that kind of result, because Bristol can do that to teams.
They can, and as the score suggests, Bristol City dominated this one. I watched most of it live, actually. Tough afternoon for Pompey, who struggled to get out of their half at times. Adam Randall with possibly the pick of the goals for City. Great strike from distance. Got a little bit of a deflection on the way through, but a fantastic strike, and an important result to keep Bristol City's playoff push on the boil. Pompey will be worried, though, Paul, or they would have been, looking at Norwich's recent form. But as we know, things can change ever so quickly for anyone in that league.
Yeah, it was a bit harrowing for Pompey, I think. The goalkeeper, Smith, had a bit of a nightmare, didn't he? I noted as well. He struggled a little bit and looked a little bit sorry for himself when that 5th one flies in as well. 2 good late finishes for Sinclair Armstrong, obviously. They're a side that can do that. Mehmeti, Twine, we know they've got quality at the top of the pitch. And yeah, they'll continue to try and make a run for it towards the end, hopefully, for Bristol City, because I do like them as a club. I think that they've been overachieving with what they spend, and there's something in that for me that makes them a bit of a favourite. But yeah, that's another one. the Coventry surfboard to the title. Not so much anymore. They are suddenly just starting to buckle a little bit under the pressure of being the runaway leaders. Bullied also by Kelman for Charlton, who absolutely smashed his brow out the way to get the rebound in for Rankin Costello. So it was, and he should have squared it as well, by the way. But they do get the goal that gives them an opportunity against Coventry, and it finishes 1-1.
It finishes 1-1, and Coventry, as you allude to, might need to have a little look over their shoulder at Ipswich now, especially after their recent meetings, the 2 times that they've met them. But at this point, just an 8-point gap. An early Ellis Sims opener cancelled out by a Rankin Costello goal. So Miguel Brown with a horrible defensive mistake that led to Charlton's goal as well. They'll be ruining that. But Charlton, they'll have felt some justice as well after being denied what looked like, to me, a clear penalty for handball. Cov starting to drop a few points, mate. Have they? Well, I think you just suggested it. Maybe they've plateaued a bit. They're certainly not scoring with the frequency and volume that they were at the start of the season, are they?
No, that's right. They at times, I've watched them in recent months, they have relied on individuals to sort of drag them into those winning positions. A little bit of outstanding, that's what the top teams tend to have. They tend to have 2 or 3 who can do something special. And I think Coventry have been riding that way for a little bit of time now, just before into December and into January now. They've just been relying on a few key players to sort of drag them through when they haven't really dominated the games that they've been playing. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is for them. I'm sure that everybody would swap positions with them. Let's get that right. But they are certainly not as clear a favourite as they were 10 games ago. That's for sure. On to the classic Championship result. Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0. What on earth is going on? Derby, fair play to him. Bobby Clark capitalising. Goodness me, that's a surprise, isn't it? Middlesbrough who've been going so well, Derby who've been in and out, and then they go and get the 1-0 win.
Yeah, and this was back-to-back defeats for Middlesbrough as well after such a good start under Kim Hellball, as it's been referred to, stopped in its tracks. And I mean, this saw them lose second spot on New Year's Day as well. As you say, Bobby Clark netting for Derby after Borough really dominate possession, create a host of chances, but don't take them. John Eustace sides, interestingly, they find a way to be competitive, don't they? So often this Derby side doesn't look especially imposing, rather, but they grind out some results, don't they? And I think that's a hallmark of his teams, or it appears to have been.
Yeah, that's right, mate. That's right. They're going to be fine, aren't they, Derby? I don't see them in any sort of... I see them climbing the way up to mid-table by the end of the game. So, end of the season, sorry. Hull 0, Stoke 1. Just when we thought Stoke were fading, back they come again. 1-0 to Stoke away at Hull. I did see one shot from Casey Palmer, which I think nearly broke the bar in half and smashed down onto the goal line. I don't know about you, mate, but I do love this technology. Do you remember that back in the day when, I mean, obviously, if it Villa Park, it doesn't work all the time, but I love the technology because the players run to the ref with their hands up like this. What's going on, ref? That's a goal. And just point at the watch. Just point at the watch. It's done, isn't it? That's a great bit of tech, isn't it? Especially when it works. But on this occasion, obviously, it led to a much-needed win for Stoke, who had only picked up a point from their previous 3. Turned the tables on a Hull side that recently won in the Potteries as well. So a little bit of revenge for Stoke. Bosnick on the score sheet. Hull missing the chance to go third in this one. The division's so hard to predict, isn't it, mate? I mean, like you say, given Stoke's recent form before this, we wouldn't have necessarily predicted it. But, on current form, I would have had Hull down for it. But the unpredictability of the Championship is what makes it so compelling to watch, isn't it? That's it. Yep. Ipswich Town, one of the favourites still to go, scraping through against Oxford. Obviously, a struggling Oxford side. Ipswich recording a 2-1 win.
Yeah, Ipswich jumping into second with a result most would have expected, although it wasn't completely straightforward for them. Jaden Philogene scoring from an all too familiar position on the left, an all too familiar goal scorer. Also made a game of it though. Lancashire equaliser before Akpom seals it for Town. Lancashire had a golden chance actually. I don't know if you caught it to level. But, you know, the Tractor Boys, good value for it. They're on the march, aren't they, Paul, at the moment? They're looking a bit like Man City were in the Premier League a few games ago. They're starting to look menacing.
Yeah, I know. Philogene, for me, is an outstanding talent, although he only scores at home. There's a chant in there somewhere. Philogene, he only scores. I don't know, something like that. There's got to be one somewhere. It's one Jimmy would definitely be all over that one. But yeah, it's only at home. Weird. It feels like he scored the same goal about 6 or 7 times this season. So I'm sure at some point the defenders will figure out that he likes to cut in from that left and open his body and shape one. But we never know. Maybe he'll just keep doing it forever and no one will figure it out. Preston, coasting along to their win over Sheffield Wednesday. Seems to be an all too familiar thing for the red half of Sheffield to win 3-0, for the blue half of Sheffield to lose 3-0. And it was another one of them. It really does feel like it looks like a cup game when Wednesday are defending now. It looks like players who aren't fit for the level, especially when people are running through the middle of the pitch. It's really hard to see just a lack of pressure on the ball. It's really like they're miles off it, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are, and it's quite stark and it's alarming when you see it. I mean, it's as comfortable as it gets for Preston, this result. McCann, Osmajic and Dobbin all on the score sheet, and it all looked far too easy for them, to be honest with you. Credit to Preston for the season they're having. They're a tough nut to crack, but Wednesday just waiting for the season to end, aren't they? Obviously, the administration issue and the ownership issue rolls on. Who knows when that'll end? But yeah, just as we'll move on to talk about in a game after this, they're horrific to watch defensively, aren't they? Really, really poor.
Yeah, terrible. So QPR, end of a 4-match winning run for QPR, who've picked up of late. They lost at home to Norwich City, who are, on that result, you think, they'll be all right. But we'll talk about Norwich a bit later when we look at the table. But a 2-1 win for Norwich at QPR on New Year's Day, a great result for them.
It was. The Canaries, really at that point starting to gather some survival momentum, and this was a really precious 3 points for them. They led it 2-0 before a late Mbengwe reply for QPR. Sargent and McCarmer both on the score sheet on this occasion for Norwich. They were briefly on the field together, I think for about 10 minutes or so. Could be some pairing that, mate. They don't always play with, they generally do play with one up front from what I've seen. But at some point, if they get an opportunity to play both of them, that could be a handful for any defence, couldn't it?
It could, and that could be vital for them come the end of the season. Their goals may be the thing that drags them above the drowning line at the bottom there. Saints, Southampton and Millwall played out a 0-0. Bazuna made a super save in this, but not too much to talk about here. Southampton just starting to stutter, really surprising to me with the squad that they've got. Millwall obviously always a tough nut to crack. And a share of the spoils for a 0-0 there. So I want to move on quickly to Swansea. Vigouroux for Swansea against West Brom. Talk to me about the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, he can be a little bit unpredictable at times, a little bit inconsistent, but he has his days where, he can just pull out some outstanding saves and looks like someone that could play at a higher level. I mean, this was again another good result for Swansea. They've been on a pretty decent run lately. In the aftermath of yet another defeat for the Baggies, questions again circled at this point around Ryan Mason's position, something we'll go on to talk about. But with Michael Carrick initially being linked as a replacement for him, a few others in the betting at this point. But midfielder Jay Fulton off the bench to score, looping effort from 20 yards out, impressive goal. This result made it 5 wins from 7 for Swansea. With form like that, I mean, they'd be starting to look up, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they should be. They should be hoping to, but I think that's the problem for the teams down there who go 3 or 4 games without a win now. The sides that you're hoping are going to be struggling as well. Some of them are starting to turn a corner. I say turn a corner. They'll win one, they'll lose one, they'll win one. That's just this league this season is just exactly like that. My kingdom for some consistency is, I'm sure, what a lot of the managers would say. The Tom Ince show against Birmingham, put to the sword by obviously remember his dad Paul with his shirt coming on at last second onto the pitch. Our first intro to Paul Ince. Young Tom Ince. I say young Tom Ince. It feels like he's been young forever. I don't know how old he is now, but he was rolling back the years with this hat-trick performance.
He was, and Watford in general are flying, aren't they, mate? I mean, as you said to me previously, arguably an unlikely hat-trick from Tom Ince as well, but he was a constant threat in this one. He could have had 4 or 5, in all honesty. James Beadle was a busy boy as a result. This was 7 games without a win for Birmingham. Haven't addressed that away form, have they? Still,
I don't know what to say, mate. It's I've never understood it. I've never understood. I can understand why there'd be a minor edge. I understand why familiarity and knowing the pitch and the surroundings, the crowd, etc. I can never understand teams that generally win at home and never win away. I mean, it's just baffles me. And then there's other teams, isn't there, who'll only win away and never win at home, and it's just. Tell me about the psychology of a footballer, and I'll tell you, you don't know what you're on about because none of us do. Sheffield United, a big night for Sheffield United at home to Leicester, doing the double over the Foxes. We talk a lot about Leicester's threats in the wide areas and the wage bill and the big players that they've got. But Sheffield United, we did a watch along for it, didn't we, mate? It was top draw from Sheffield United.
It was, and back-to-back wins after a victory at Stoke as well. Against a strong side on paper, we all know that, but perhaps one not having the season any of us expected. Samare and Brooks, sparkling performances for the Blades in this one. As Tom Cannon, again, nets, his second in 2 games in this one, finding some form against a former club as well. He loves a goal against a former club. We've seen that. Sorry situation for Cifuentes, but the Blades look very strong in this one, didn't they?
It's that right-hand side for me, mate. I think it's like I said, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Brooks and Femi Sariki down that right-hand side are quickly looking like the combination on that right-hand side for Sheffield United. And the quality that I love the most, we know they can both run. We know they've got power in the legs, certainly Femi, but it's the final bit. It's that ball in that allows Tom Cannon to strike the ball. It allows Callum O'Hare to time his run onto the ball, which he did against Wrexham as well, which we haven't really spoken about Cal O'Hare recently, who was one of the better players at the start of the season and is now waging with goals, scoring a brave header at Wrexham, which is not what I'd put him down as. Wouldn't be my first. Who scored a brave header at such a Cal O'Hare wouldn't be near the top of my list, but fair play to him. He put himself in there again and made that run. The timing of his runs into the box are getting some rewards this season.
They are. He's starting to improve that side of his game because we all know as Sheffield United fans, his physical output and being part of a system last season and what he gave to the team in more than just goals and assists, which was something he was kind of almost criticised for not doing enough. But this season he's addressing that, and I think part of that is he's thinking about the rest of his game and, as you say, timing those runs into the box.
Okay. Jordan James again on the score sheet for Leicester. He's not doing his career any harm as we're at the moment. If there's one player at Leicester who's doing themselves absolutely all the favours they can, it's him. I think he's a bit of a shining light for them, but we skirt past because they were well beaten. So yeah, we go to Birmingham for the West Midlands derby. Birmingham 3, Coventry 2. A defeat for Coventry, a win at home for Birmingham. Used to saying that, but a really good game.
a really good game, and it felt like Chris Davis, needed an uplifting result like this. It was certainly a reprieve for him. They down a Coventry side who seem to be, as we talked about, in a little bit of a wobble at the moment. Some cracking goals in this from both teams. 3 inside the first 20 minutes, actually. Patrick Roberts and Marvin Dutch starring for Birmingham. But something we might talk about with the man in black, Gaz Dunn, later. A Bobby Thomas sending off at the end for a bit of afters with Neumann after the ball was cleared, will now serve a suspension. We'll go into more detail on that later, but he needs to be a bit more disciplined, doesn't he, mate?
Yeah, again, I'll wait for the man in black to let me know about that, because I think some of the purists might think that didn't warrant a red card because of the force that was inflicted on the player, but I've got a feeling someone else will tell me something different later. But we shall see.
I can see him smiling.
Yeah. QPR 3-0 against Sheffield Wednesday. 3-0. Yeah, LA. It's I don't know. It's difficult to comment as United fans, isn't it? Because Bannon getting robbed on halfway for them to score a goal. 2 amazing finishes in this game, Lewis.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Wednesday stayed in it for a while. If I can offer them a crumb of comfort, it took a while for them to be put, completely out of the game. Burrell obviously put QPR in front, and I don't think there was, ever really any doubt in the result. But they stayed in the game, as I say. 2 goals towards the end from Coley to complete the scoring. For the third, he appears to have been kept onside by Cole McGee, who is so far behind his defensive line. I can't imagine what he's thinking, mate. I mean, I would have been screamed at for defending like that. For where he was on the pitch, it was just unbelievable. Inexperienced maybe, but at the level, shocking to see. For Wednesday, the administration and takeover saga rumbles on. Talk of players leaving, restricted, of course, in terms of bringing anyone in. They just need to get this done now, don't they? So they can just move forward with their future.
Yes. Yeah, we don't want to dwell on it too long. But it's Coley. Was it Coley who scored the goals? Coley or Coley? I can't remember.
Coley, yeah, 2 good goals towards the end.
Again, another player that I was like, wow, where's this lad come from? But yeah, he's certainly scored, took 2 really well taken finishes for QPR. Blackburn Charlton, big comeback hit in this game. A brace apiece.
Yeah, and it was all going swimmingly for Charlton. 2 Charlie Kelman goals, putting them in front. The second, a penalty, and I couldn't tell if it was from the replay initially. Baraji had with a brace of his own to rescue a point for Blackburn. I think they deserved a point on the balance of play. Paul, I'm looking at the stats. They needed it. 4 points above the drop zone. Blackburn always feel like a team that should be doing better, but they need to be careful, don't they? Because they just can't seem to edge away from. They're just sitting just above the relegation zone, and that's where they seem to remain.
Yeah, they always looks to me like they've got players to score a goal, but it's a leaky back line, isn't it? So we'll see how they get on, mate, because they will want a little run to get out of the trouble, but it's going to be tight down there. Bristol City, fresh from the dismantling display, down to a 2-0 home defeat to Preston North End. Paul Heckingbottom's Preston North End. Well, honestly, these lads keep churning out performance after performance, and you've got to take your hat off to him.
Yeah, and you know what you're getting with them, don't you? I mean, didn't have a load of possession in this game, didn't create lots either, but they're organised and they're effective. Baffling team, Bristol City, dominated Portsmouth on New Year's Day, as you say, albeit Preston a tougher test, of course. But Lewis Dobbin profits from a goalkeeping error in trying to play out before Alfie Devine closes this one out. Preston. Hats off to them, because we know ourselves Paul Heckingbottom is a decent coach, but he's operating with far more restriction in terms of budget there, isn't he?
He is indeed, yeah. But what he's got is a team, and he's got Osmajic, his main goal scorer, coming back into the team, and obviously scoring recently. I think he's just he just knows how to set a team up, and that's paying dividend for Preston this year, and fair play to him. Derby 1, Wrexham 2. Again, Wrexham on the right side of the result. Derby County, again, I still think Derby will be okay. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, Wrexham are on a roll, mate. I mean, it just shows you when you get a couple of good results, it can snowball. Another win on the road for them here. They tested Zetterstrom in the Derby goal a couple of times before Sam Smith's goal, that man again. Brereton Diaz obviously pulling one back, a player we know very well. Matty James with a rocket after Derby clear the ball straight to him. Horrible mistake, straight into his feet. Both these teams will be okay this season, I think, as you mentioned. I think Derby will be as well. Can Wrexham be better than okay, Paul? Can they make the playoffs, or is that a bit too much to ask with the teams chasing it?
It certainly isn't. Not at this stage. It's not too much to ask because they're on that run and they're on it at the right time because there's plenty of games left. And if they can continue in anything like the form they're in, they're gonna draw teams back, and they're not far away now. And we'll look at that table in a bit because they are now becoming the dark horses for me. Where a lot of people thought it might be Birmingham instead of Wrexham, I'm feeling much more confident about Wrexham at this point in time. He's got them playing, and he's got goals in the team, and that's usually a combination that will get you a long way in the Championship. The surprise result of the round, it has to be said, and we were talking about this just before we came on. Middlesbrough, who have had their struggles recently, 4 Southampton 0. Just what is happening at Southampton? The wheels are falling off.
They're completely falling off, aren't they? And I think it seems to have happened that, they've fallen off a cliff since Tonda Eckert got the job full time. They were going really well when he was the caretaker coach. All of a sudden, he gets the job on a permanent basis and everything changes. Really strange. Could be coincidental. That might not be a linked thing, but it just seems very strange it's happened at the same time. After a run of 4 without a win, though, what a response from Borough. That man, Morgan Whittaker, getting Hellberg's side back on track, gets himself a couple of goals. 2 Borough players, though, miles offside for the first goal, and made sure that I wasn't seeing things, watched it back a second time. Absolute shocker from the officials, but fantastic result for Borough, as you say. Can they?
I just saw guys' head do that when you said that. It was funny. Absolute shocker from the officials. Absolute shocker.
Gave his head a bit of a shake.
Yeah, Whittaker is he the Championship Saka? Is he the Timu Saka of this division? He looks, when he cuts inside on that left, it reminds me of him a little bit. But no, he's a bit inconsistent for me, and that'll be his problem. Otherwise, he can look forward to suitors from a higher realm, maybe, particularly if Middlesbrough don't go up. So on to Millwall, always difficult to beat. 2-1 at home to Swansea. Vigouroux for Swansea again. I featured him. I said about him in the last game. I'm going to say about him again. He's keeping them in games, and he might be a difference maker for them come the final shake up at the bottom there.
Yeah, he's someone that can make a difference for them. Certainly, he's capable of spectacular saves at times as well. Late drama in this one at the Den. Cabango levels after an Ivanovic opener. Caleb Taylor scores a header in stoppage time to win the game. I asked Gaz, actually, I felt like at the time watching it, like he climbed the Swansea defender a bit. But Gaz felt nothing in it. I ran that one by him and he said, no, I think he's just got himself caught underneath the player heading the ball. So Millwall in 5th as we speak, not going away, definitely part of that playoff conversation, Paul. A question about Alex Neil for you. He's been around a while now. Is he a little bit underrated as a manager, certainly at this level?
I don't know. I think he's the archetypal type of manager who'll be a good Championship manager for quite some time. Again, probably falls into the category of would anyone ever? The only way he'll manage in the Prem is if he gets them up, isn't it? I think there's so many managers like that. And as we were sniffing around Rossini, and we said about him when he was sacked by Derby, wasn't it? He was sat by.
Yeah, and Hull ultimately as well.
And Hull. And now he's the Chelsea boss. Strange. I don't know what you've got to do to get a job in the Prem. You must have a style about you. I don't know, but yeah, Alex Neil, I can't see you rocking up to a Premier League club anytime soon. But again, a very competent man at this level at setting teams up.
Yeah, certainly, and doing a great job at Millwall this season as well. They hang in there, and I think they're a good shout to be in that top 6 at the end. They'll certainly be somewhere in and around it.
Yep. On to the Sorba Thomas show for Stoke City, the last one of this round due to some postponements. Which again, I'm going to bring Dunny in a minute because I don't want him to be the monkey Harris of this show with from Only Fools and Horses. Gets spoken about 400 times on screen, and you never see him. You've never seen him. Norwich 0, Stoke 2. Yeah, Stoke. The bandwagon rolls on. He was celebrating with a ball under his doing his silly walk again. I think has he got 9 goals this season? He's really, he's not everyone's cup of tea, Sorba Thomas, but I know he's climbed out of Femi Sariki's pocket now, and he's doing a bit better, isn't he?
He is doing a little bit better, yeah. Femi Sariki's a tough customer to come up against, let's face it. But Sorba Thomas is having a great season, and Stoke arresting some recent poor form against the Norwich side. They've been going well, as we said. Gallagher and Thomas both on the score sheet. Serious suspicion of offside for Gallagher's goal. Can't remember if I ran this one by the man that we're going to see in a few moments, but nonetheless, 2 slick passing moves for Stoke. Wildly unpredictable, though, aren't they, Paul? I mean, did they believe their own hype a little bit early on? I know that we've talked about the fact that they possibly weren't one of the teams expected to be in and around it, but they were, and they were going very, very well. They were even very entertaining to watch, and then they dropped off a bit. Maybe they had a bit of a reality check. Suddenly, a couple of good results, and they're back on track.
Mate, they are one of about 15 seesaw teams in this league. They are either right at the top, being flung in the sky, or they are on the bottom, slamming on the floor. There is so many sides, and even the ones now in Coventry who are having a little dip themselves, which is the first time this season. This division, I tell you, again, putting an knacker on it's a waste of time. I'm going to get old Monkey Harris in so he can be visible for everybody. Hello, the man in black, Mr. Dunn. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Jez. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year. A few games called off, mate. Pompey and Ipswich, Hull and Watford, and then finally Sheffield United.
Yeah.
After the 2-hour journey, stood outside the ground. There I was, with 2 hours to go till kickoff, mate. What? I don't know. You'll tell me the rules on this one. For me, the sun was blazing. All the banks around Bramall Lane I was looking at were all green. There was no ice or anything on them. What is happening? 2 hours.
Yeah, so we'll look at the forecast, believe it or not, prior to the game. And normally there'll be an interaction with the club if they think there's any doubt. And it's usually, I'll be honest, the clubs usually are quite good at saying, look, there's a potential here because they know their ground. Their grounds, when I always speak to the groundsman when I go to the ground, or if there's any doubt, what do you think? And I always get the secretaries to get them on the phone. Yeah. So Josh, he's probably looked, seen that it's really not getting above about 3 degrees. It's frozen, it's solid in that area. It doesn't matter if it's a meter cubed or what. If it's unsafe, you'll call it off.
Did you see the pitch down at Queen's Park Rangers for the Wednesday?
Yeah,
game?
I did. Yeah, I have seen it. I don't know. I can't. I don't know because I've seen the pitch, but I don't know if it. The point is with that pitch, right? It'll look worse because if I remember right, that's got a lot of artificial in it.
Ours has got a load of artificial in it. It's one of the Adesso pitches, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the Adesso pitches. Maybe that wasn't as solid, and maybe that referee has said no, that's safe to play. Where our referee is like, that's not safe to play. You know what I mean? And you'll always go on the side of caution. I'll be honest with you on stuff like that.
I had a feeling that he was going to throw Loftus Road at you, Gaz. I just knew it. It was in my mind.
Well, mate, I was so bemused by it. I was so stunned.
I thought Stoke looked it as well. I thought Stoke looked a bit touch and go as well. But You go on there. I'll be honest. You bounce the ball. I'll be honest. When I was at grassroots level, it used to be stick a key in. Does it take my car key? If it takes my car key, we're playing. If it doesn't, we're not. That's what I used to do as a grassroots referee. So yeah,
well, there you go.
I do feel
a few incidents to talk about, mate. So there was a Charlton penalty for a pull. They get given a pen, don't they? That we think he might have. Do you think he conned the ref on this one?
I think he's gone down very easily. I think there's minimal, if any, contact to play. The referee's blindsided. When the point is, you're always going to be in the area where the referee is. The corner, I think the corner comes in from the ball comes in from the left, so he's going to be over that left hand side anyway. And then when the ball comes over the top, he's looking through several players, and the way he goes down, because the arm goes up, the arm does go up. There's minimal contact, if all, as in to pull him. It looks like a penalty to the referee from where he stood. It really does. But he'll be a bit disappointed about that one, I think.
Oh, was that what you say? The ref got it wrong. Is that right? You know what you're saying?
Yeah. I see. We're open and honest on this show, aren't we? It's not a penalty.
I love it. See, I watched the West Brom game as well against Swansea. And Swansea get a goal. Now, fair play to Mason at this point, because he didn't actually go in for this at the end and didn't sort of bemoan some of the decisions like some managers have. Certainly Lampard has recently, hasn't he? In his post-match comments. He didn't go for it, but I thought Galbraith's tackle was. I mean, I'd be disappointed if I was on the receiving end of that tackle that won the ball for them to score the goal, especially in the situation that West Brom are in. I know that doesn't change the decision. It shouldn't influence the decision. But certainly, I thought it was a bit heavy.
I'll do a Dermot Gallagher one on here. Yeah. Did you just say when he won the ball? Yeah.
You and I both know if it's from behind, it's a free kick.
I don't think it's from behind. I think it comes from the side. The referee is in a great position for this as well. And then literally as soon as that tackle goes in, he goes, he's got the ball. You see him gesture. He goes, he's played the ball. The ball goes there. He comes through the side. He doesn't go through the back of the player. Doesn't get the player before. I think it's a good tackle. And to be honest, you look at it as well. There isn't much appeal. Arms don't go up everywhere. Everyone kicking off.
Oh, that's a different question altogether, isn't it? That's a different kind of word.
All that does is reinforce the decision, in my opinion. Play it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, honestly, as a referee, sometimes you will give a decision. I got a corner wrong 2 weeks ago, blatantly wrong. I gave the corner, happy. Player reaction told me I totally got that wrong. The way they kicked off, you have that gut feeling when you've got a decision correct or not correct. And yeah, I think the referee's got that one spot on.
Can I ask a question then, Gaz, on that? And this is not a question directed at you. This is more a question of what you think other referees would feel like in that situation. If you feel you've got something wrong and you've seen those appeals afterwards, does that then play on the referees? So that's got to play on their mind a little bit for the rest of the game.
Of course, you park it, especially if it's something. Mine was. I gave a corner. I gave the goal kick. Sorry, I gave a goal kick, and I should have given a corner. And I knew I made a mistake. Player reaction told me. I spoke to the player afterwards. It doesn't really play on your mind because you have to park it. You can't. Be honest with you. You concentrate. So I come off a game and I'm mentally exhausted just as much as I am physically exhausted because you're concentrating so much. You haven't got time to worry about a decision. You haven't got time to think about, I should have sent that player off, or I should have given this and I should have given that. You don't have time. And the way I cope with it, to be honest, is I interact with players. I talk to players because I do that as well as watching the game. I speak to players because then it takes your mind off them situations.
On to Bobby Thomas with his red card.
Yeah.
Again, do you have to react like that to get someone sent off? Because my take on this sometimes is particularly in the realms of no VAR, which is the Championship. I think if the player just goes, "What are you doing?" Because I don't think he smashed him like the reaction what came because of the reaction. The ref he then gives the ref no choice. I reckon in the good old days, that'd have been that's like a kiss, isn't it? It's like a little whatever. And yeah, for me, as an old dinosaur of footy, I think that Bobby Thomas is a little bit hard done by with that. I think that those sorts of things happen a bit on the pitch, and obviously he's dealt the severest of punishments with his red card.
Yeah, so Louis actually spotted this one where there's actually a slight kick out first, and that's where the reaction comes from the Birmingham player.
Yeah.
The point is, it's the same when we talk about serious foul play. It's all about excessive force, and the way violent conduct is worded in the laws is it's attempts to use excessive force or uses excessive force. So as soon as he's attempted to strike him, it's a red card all day long. It doesn't matter if it doesn't really matter any other way. Correct decision. It's the AR. By the way, the referee doesn't see this, I don't think. It's a great spot by the AR. A great spot. He spots it from 15 yards away because that's what he'll be looking at. He'll be looking at around that sort of area. So it's a good spot by the AR.
He's run up the field at that point.
Yeah, the referee's run up the field, yeah.
When I was talking about this, someone mentioned the word punch, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I can't classify it as a punch, but
even it's not the best, is it? So I'm not sure if it's a punch, but
no, it's like
he definitely goes to strike him.
It's a waft. It's a waft. Where I'm from, that's a waft. Anyway, yeah, and then we had Mason Clark. I spoke about Frank Lampard not being happy about some of the decisions going against Coventry. Is he trying to create that siege mentality, or does he have a case with the Mason Clark one by Sakamoto? It looked a bit. I can never tell. I think sometimes the forwards don't do themselves any favours because as soon as they feel the contact, they tend to put their feet together, so they look like they've lost their balance, and then sort of go straight prostate, don't they? And then fall on the floor like they've been rugby tackled. This had an air of a rugby tackle about it, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, to be honest. And I think Lampard is trying to keep plugging that one, by the way. I really do. But on this one, he's actually got a fair shout. I think he's pretty much took his shorts off him. He really has. He totally pulls him down. I think it pretty much is a rugby tackle. I think it is a penalty. I think the referee, the point is because the way Tianxia, fair play to him, Sarmento, he's played clever. He's done this totally on the blind. There's no AR that side. It's the blind side of the referee. It's a hard one for the referee to give in the position that he's naturally.
We've seen some of these given though, guys, haven't we? I mean, I've been saying
100%. If the referee sees that, he gives a penalty. I'm in no doubt about that. I just don't think he sees it.
You see some, don't you? Before the corner gets taken, or usually I'm thinking about corners and stuff. But when I think about this. And you see some before the corner gets taken that are a lot worse. And because the ball's not in play, the ref just comes in and gives him a little and I'm thinking to myself, can they give a pen when the ball's about to be kicked in or if the ball's not in play?
So the reason you see a lot of referees do that, by the way, is, believe it or not, you're setting them up. If he gives a penalty, then everyone in the ground knows, right? You've just told him. The referee, everybody knows. Clattenburg was very good at this, and Thingy said it the other day. Dermot Gallagher actually said this the other day, of just lining players up. Right, I've just told you to stop it. I'm either giving a free kick or a penalty if that carries on. Lo and behold, they carry on doing it, and he gives it one way or the other. Everyone sees it coming because he's lined them up. He's set them up. He's let everyone know what he's looking at. And there's one on Souček actually we'll talk about later about it. We use a graph. And it's little 6 squares. Is impact, how much impact that holding offence has, and how excessive that is, and that's what we use in our heads.
Right, and again, I used to say, right, if you're a linesman, and I know they called it ARs now. You can have your term, guys. I know that's the proper one. But when when you're a lino, and you're watching the game and you got to do, and it's got to be that, and you've got like half a second, haven't you, or you used to before you could run on for about 15 yards and do it later. But certainly in this scenario, you've almost owe it to make a quick decision, don't you? And you put yourself under that pressure to make a timely decision Whereas when it comes to watching it back on the video, it's just accepted that we had another one, didn't we, where with the offsides and stuff, they had the lines out. It's 3 minutes, it's 5 minutes, it's stops the game. The goal's disallowed. Wait a minute, the goal's allowed. Then the celebration's like, oh, well, great, we scored. It's I don't know, mate. There's something in the game at the minute where, as a spectacle, I can appreciate how difficult it is to give these penalties, but and I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think VAR has sort of moved the rules a little bit in terms of what can be given and what wouldn't be given. I see a lot given at the minute for VAR through VAR that would never have been given 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think it is getting better though. I look where we were 2 or 3 years ago with it to where it is now, and in my honest opinion, I generally believe it's getting better. I really do, and the clubs think that. You look at it. I think 2 years ago there was a vote to say, do we get rid of it in the Premier League, and nothing's, and then it was turned down. It was turned down, and now they're back to. I think everyone's quite content with it at the moment, and it's clubs that push this. By the way, there's a reason it's not in the Women's Super League and places like that and the Championships, because the clubs at the moment don't want it.
Well, yeah, but there's the Championship. I think the Championship's the next in line, isn't it? Because I think there's some of the logistical, technological things that need to be in line, and some of the
They actually put it on Ref Watch about it, and Jay said on there, he said, how has the Scottish Prem got it in the Championship not? Well, no disrespect to the Scottish Prem, but
yeah, again, let's not go on about that too much. I don't want to discuss that with anybody. But no, let's have a look at this here table then, lads. So Coventry, they're enjoying a 6-point lead now. Again, just look, they look like they've been reined in a little bit. Preston North End only 9 points behind, along with Millwall and 11 for Watford. Those sides seem to be the ones that are showing the ability to string together results, which, as we know, is the key to success in this league, isn't it? Isn't it, lads?
Yeah, I mean, they're hanging in there, aren't they? Where, as you say, you see a little bit of inconsistency through those clutch of teams, but there are a handful there, as you mentioned, that seems to be able to just pull out enough results. Their points average is good enough to keep them in the mix. You see Middlesbrough there profiting from the fact that Ipswich were in one of the games called off, so they leapfrogged them back into second place with that impressive result. But it's still going to be very interesting. You know, you look at Hull, Stoke, and obviously Wrexham picking up some great form. There's still a chasing pack behind there. It could be any one of those teams, and changes quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like Wrexham are going to be ones that are going to be there or thereabouts fairly soon if they carry on, obviously, as they are. If you look, I always look at the red and the green, and Bristol City backing up what I was saying about them earlier. My gosh, lose, win, lose, win, lose. They are literally up and down like something I'm not going to say on here, but they are up and down all the time. Stoke again, a couple of wins back to back, soon changes the picture for them. They were looking like they were falling out of it. Now they're back. It is going to be chop and change all the way to the finish, and it's just about these sides at the minute who are on a little bit of a rich vein. Loser for Watford, who I think if you go up this season and don't take him with you, then your scouts need to take a look at themselves, don't you? Do you not think, lads?
Yeah, I mean, he's been an outstanding player for Watford this season. He's at the centre of everything they do, goals and assists, particularly assists. He seems to be involved in just about everything. Real technician, great on set pieces as well. So he's got a party trick. They've certainly found form, Watford. But the one I feel really good about in there is Preston. I don't know what you think, Gaz. They seem to be just a tough nut to crack, particularly at Deepdale, and they're very steady, aren't they? Their form is steady; it holds.
Yeah, like I say, we all know what Heck is all about: getting a team, getting a bit of cohesion going. I think that's what they are there. Yeah. I think they'll need to do a bit of business in January to sustain it. I don't think they've got that squad depth, and if they pick up a couple of injuries, I think they'll struggle. But if they keep injury free and keep their squad fit, they're a danger for the playoffs, I think, this year.
I still think that playoff picture, there's at least 15 sides who will believe that they can get in there, which will make this transfer window pretty feisty, I'd imagine. Just looking in at the middle section now, obviously The inconsistencies continue. A lot of red, a lot of green, all splashed about. Birmingham getting their first win in 6 down there. Southampton, no wins in 6, 3 points from the last 6 games. Not a great record. Sheffield United down there with 3 wins, 2 defeats and a draw, but we know that over the longevity of the 10-game comparison that they're right at the top of the form charts. This, again, I know that 2 games changes the picture, but I think, by the start of February, do you think the runners and riders will be really clear by then, or do you still think this will be choppy change all season?
I think it could be choppy changey all season outside of the top 2 or 3. Sheffield United, I think, and trying to take my red and white specs off for a moment and judge it objectively, I just think have still got a really good opportunity to get in there. They need to keep their foot on the gas now, although the door will close. They came from such a poor position at the start that they've had to do a lot of catching up. They've got a chance now. Southampton, God, we felt so good about Southampton, didn't we, Paul? We were talking to Gaz about it before. They were flying. Eckert got the job full time, and they've just, you can see their form guide there. It's woeful, isn't it?
If I was a fan, mate, I'd be really, really, really worrying about where their heads are at, because to be on the rise like they were, and they were on a bit of a rise, to go 6 games without a win. We talk about players' mentalities. They might have been playing for a new manager. They might have been thinking there'll be a new manager through the door anytime soon. We're going to, they're playing for the future almost when a new manager arrives. And as soon as they appoint the guy that they're playing for, they've sort of, does it feel like they're down tools? That 4-0 result is a real anomaly for me.
It's strange, and it seems to have just coincided with that permanent appointment. As I say, we don't know for sure if it's got any influence over it, but it's just very odd that it's happened at the same time. What are your thoughts, Gaz? Do you think that that's something that can get into players? Maybe they've started to relax at that point. They've proven a point to the new guy.
I don't think it's something like that. I think I really it was 4-0 Borough. Borough are up there, and they've got the ability to do that against pretty much any team in that league. So if you take that out, they're on a poor run of form, but they've got players there. But it's the same with Leicester, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's exactly the same with Leicester. Does it play on players' mind? Yeah. Look at where. Same happens at Sheffield United. When heads are down, it's hard to get that result. Players talk about it all the time, don't they? Trying to get out of that low. Once you go, it's like as a striker. You might go 10 games without scoring, then all of a sudden they'll get 1 goal and it'll just go. They'll be scoring every other game. So, yes, there's definitely some mentality in it. But I do think the Borough one was a bit of a one-off for Southampton. Hopefully not on the 21st of January.
Mate, no wins in 6. They'll need to turn it around real quick if they're going to mount that challenge that we thought they might. Again, more red down here. Some beneficiaries from some reasonable results there. Portsmouth picking up a couple of wins in the last 6. Keep them there. Charlton with 1 win in 6. Are they going to be a victim of the too many draws syndrome? We'll wait and see for that one to see what happens. West Bromwich Albion, obviously, who have made a bit of a move to try and quell the problems that they're facing. They've sacked Mason. I think most people thought this was coming a short while ago, but the start of January is a bit of a classic time following Amorim out the door. Is Mason. I'm still unsure about what happened at Chelsea, but we'll stick with Mason for now. West Brom, are their aspirations based on a reputation of being one of the top sides in the Championship? Because I look through their team and I don't think it sparkles like it has done in the last sort of 10 years or so.
Yeah, I think you'd have a fair point. They've got some players like Johnston, like Hegerberg, players in their team that you think could play for other Championship sides further up the table, can do a little bit at the top end of the pitch. So maybe some of it comes from that. I think you're probably right, though, that some of it's historic perception of where West Brom should be. I feel they certainly should have done better than they've done under Mason. I think, something you mentioned, maybe his plight was down to a bit of a lack of experience. I would probably go along with that. 27 games in charge, 9 wins. That's a 33% win record. Leaves them, as you say, there in 18th. I certainly think they should be doing better than that. But, maybe their expectations are based on history, as you say.
I look down at that table, mate, and although we spoke about Norwich, that 3 wins out of the last 6, that is not the form of a side in the bottom 3. Oxford United will fear getting cut adrift now because obviously 4 defeats in 6 there, one win in there. Norwich obviously on a better trajectory than that. I think that it's going to go all the way this, to be honest. And I look at Charlton, look at Blackburn, who I think might just have enough at the top of the pitch. Pompey have got a couple of wins recently, despite the thrashing that they took down at Bristol. So it's kind of like it's still there for the taking, isn't it?
It is. I think it's 2 from 5 for me. It's Charlton down. I feel Blackburn and Charlton both have to be a little bit careful. For me, my money would be on Oxford to take one of those 2 places, and then it's any from one of the other 4. From the 4 above. I don't know what you think, Gaz. What are your feelings on it? Do you think similar, or do you think anyone else?
Go on, Gaz. You can upset some people now, mate. Tell us who's going down.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Oxford are goners for me. I can't see them getting out of that. I don't think they've got the quality on the pitch, to be honest with you. I really don't. But after that, I'll be honest with you. Any one of them clubs can go, West Brom, let's see what happens with a change of manager. Charlton, I agree with you that they've got a bit up the top pitch, so Blackburn. Portsmouth could be in trouble. But
Josh
honestly,
Murphy's been injured as well, Gaz. They've had Murphy out. I think he's back soon, but that's been a big miss for them.
I'll be honest with you. If Sheffield United went 16th, I'd pretty much say any one of them could go down still. Pretty much,
including Norwich.
I would go up to Swansea personally.
Including Norwich?
Yeah, Norwich could still go down. Of course, it could.
Okay.
Of course, it could. They're so hit and miss at the moment. You look at that record they've got there, but you don't know which Norwich is turning up.
No, but they do get the W's, and I think that their strikers might be the ones that pull them out of the ground right at the end there, maybe, but we'll see. Let's have a look at some of these comments, lads. Okay, hi Jack, welcome, mate. Good evening, lads. Put the little one down just in time to catch the stream. Cov aren't on the best run at the minute. I feel Ipswich will catch them. He's talking about the top of the division there. Yeah, I mean, Cov, are they blinking at the minute? If I was a Cov fan, I'd be just a little bit twitchy. They'll probably want a few victories out the next 5 in order to calm those nerves. Here he is, our man, our Cornish pasty man. Here he is, David Morwood. Set my alarm after a busy day at work. Nice one, Dave. Yeah, nice one. Shout out to the birthday boy, Dave the Nose. £30 gift to the channel. Thank you very much, David. And yeah, big shout to Dave the Nose, big part of the channel, obviously. Happy birthday, pal. Lewis, surely we should have signed someone by now. What's the hold up? Game was called off. Yeah, you're right, mate. Yeah, if there's no game, surely Wilder needs to make some calls and get something done. We never know, do we? There's, like I said before, there's a real there's a combination of things that need to happen. There's a player, there's an agent, there's a selling club, there's a buying club. There might be another 3 buying clubs who all come in at the last second with a better offer. It's a real bit of a few things have to come together, don't they, to get a deal over?
They do, and it tends to come towards the end of the window, doesn't it, when teams are a little bit more settled with either what they've got in, or they're getting players back from injury or from international duty or whatever it may be.
It's loans as well, isn't it? All the best loans come at the end of the window because everyone knows where they're pretty much at and if they're finishing the market or not. Don't they?
Indeed. Sheila, regular contributor. Welcome aboard, Sheila. Ipswich for the title, where they seem to be in for Bamford. Ipswich were most people's shout at the start of the year, weren't they? And they just seem to be. They do have. I think Philippine's a big difference maker for them at the top of the pitch. Only at home, obviously. He only scores at home. He only scores at home. Thank you, Jimmy. All aboard the championship. We are indeed. Yeah, you can keep your comments about that. I won't be able to listen now, lads, but I will be on my way to work in the morning. Cheers, Darren O'Keefe. So, cheers, mate. Thanks for checking in. Peak is talking about a bit of sour grapes, I know, but really don't like how Wrexham have bought their position with clever accountancy to be able to pump money in from owners. Yeah, you're not alone, Peak. I know you're not alone, mate, but you know, we can't moan about that. Let's worry about ourselves because I still think there's still a season to salvage. Lewis, do you want this one, mate?
Yeah, Cov have had illness, says Twisted Reality, ripping through the squad over Christmas. Players have been playing when they shouldn't have been due to the lack of squad depth. Yeah, I mean, there's always some mitigation, isn't there? I noticed with Cov as well, they had Victor Torp missing for a few games, who's been a big player for them. You know, it's that time of year. Yeah, everyone's affected in some way by injuries, illness, and various other things. Jack in with Cov have been changing the formation. Yeah, possibly a sign that they're trying to adjust to teams getting used to the way they play. Jack finding new ways to try and win games.
Sims has been off form as well, hasn't he, Lou? You know, it's only literally these last game or so where he's actually got his goal scoring streak back, so that would add something to do with it as well.
That's right, yeah, and they've got Haji Wright obviously up there that they can deploy as well. So they've got options. But John says, "All right, lads, I wouldn't rest too many players on Saturday, as players can lose form and fitness." Yeah, it's a good point, John. And look, I think we'd all prefer a settled side, wouldn't we? We'd all like to have that same team when it's on a run of form, playing every week. But difficult time of year. You know, tough schedule, and unfortunately, managers do need to rotate, even the ones with good squads. And then looks like Jimmy's in with Love Gaz. Yeah, we all love Gaz, and he adds something to the show. Definitely, we all agree on that. Do you want to take the next one, Paul?
Can do, pal. Yeah, I was going into Jimmy mode and letting you run away with it. Or you were going into Jimmy mode. Yeah, we'll get on with that. One for Gaz. Ben Mee also go the ball against Southampton and they got a foul. Yeah, he did that tackle. Yeah, I remember that, Jack. Yeah, it was a great tackle, wasn't it? So it doesn't mean if they win the ball all the time. Jack's yeah, he's got a point, I think.
Depends if you get the player first.
Yeah, it does, I suppose, but I don't think Ben Mee did, mate. So, yeah.
I can't remember the tackle, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's inconsistent, mate. Yeah. Bobby Thomas also kicks out. Yeah, we saw that before. I don't think that was part of the red card. Our players lose their shirt when no pens are given. Yeah, we have had a few ripped shirts this season, haven't we? What do you think to that, Lampard? Didn't hear him moaning about that one when he went on after the game, but never mind. But they get told and still it, and they give it in the same direct towards the defending team. Yeah, that's the flip, isn't it? There's been a few keepers jump on the floor, and fair play to the refs because I've been watching this recently. Typically, it gets given, doesn't it? It typically gets given. I know we had one against Coops last year, which I was really angry about. But I think when sometimes the goalies think that they just fall on the floor, give me a free kick when I'm backpedaling or in a bit of trouble. But the refs have been quite, I think they've been quite a bit more, what I would say, closer to the money when it comes to getting the calls right. I still think the stuff at corners is ridiculous. And like you said, I think if they were putting a few more pens and doing that, we should sign Mikey. They won't sell him, mate, to us. They'd have to be in financial hardship. If you're going to sign something from somebody, there has to be an issue at the club. Jimmy made a good argument for Leicester selling a bit of their top brass, but it's hard being a ref, says Jack. Well, Dunny will be the one to tell you about that. It does it at a decent level. Got to thank David Morwood for his really generous super chat. Lads, it's been a pleasure. We've done 2 games. We've looked at the table. We've talked about the refs. I feel like we've solved the world's problem. Well, not all of them, but a few of the football world's problem. That's for sure. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We appreciate your time, mate, and your input. You clearly know a lot more than a lot of us, so it's good to have you in and around the stream. Lewis, anything to say, mate?
Just thanks to everyone for joining us, for continuing to support, and remember to like and subscribe to Ramble FC.
Hey boys, did the outro as well. Come on, let's have it. All aboard the champ.